ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। उकारस्वन्दकारो वै ऋकारस्वन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्वविधीयते। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ ब्रह्मविदा आप्नोति परं तदेकाभ्युक्ता सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्म यो वेदनिहितं गुहायां परमे व्योमन् सोऽश्नुते सर्वान् कामान् सः ब्रह्मणा विकर्षितेति। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। यतोपाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह आनन्दं ब्रह्मणो विद्वान् न बिभेति कुतश्चनेति। यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह. The words which are intended to reveal the Brahman bounce back, not being in a position to land on an object. The abhidhanam is there, the abhideyam is not mapping itself to this abhidhanam. And the mind also comes along with the words. Basically, it is the mind which is coming back. Let us go back, we are not successful. Aprapya manasa saha. But immediately the statement Anandam Brahmano Vidwan. This Brahmanaha Vidwan is the immediate usage. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha Anandam Brahmano Vidwan nabibheti. That means it's a object to be known, or I wouldn't say object, it's a thing to be known, to be cognized. Then only that phrase can be used to Brahmanaha Vidwan. At the same time, Vachaha Nivartante Aprapya. The words are coming back. And then there is Shruti Vakya, which is saying that the one who cognizes this Brahman, Kutaschana na bibeti, doesn't fear from anything. Therefore, Bhashyakara had explained this. We can quickly run through and then move. Yataha yasmat nirvikalpat yato lakshanat advaya anandatmanaha. So yato vacho nivartante, this yataha, he elaborates. Yasmat, from that, from what? That Brahman. What is that Brahman? Nirvikalpat, that which is without any attributes, any changes. Yathokta lakshanat, that which has been the one that has been described by the Lakshana. One second. Trying to come in, but I'm not able. Okay, I don't know. Trying to come in, but I'm not able to click on Advait. Are you hearing fine? You are hearing fine, right? It's not stuck or anything. You're able to hear?
Yes, yes, Guruji, able to hear.
Yeah, Sangamitra is saying it says you said waiting room. Please. I'm not able to unmute. I don't know who enabled this waiting room. Let's continue. I don't know what to do. यस्मात् निर्विकल्पात् यथोक्तलक्षणात् अद्वयानन्दात्मनः is how he defines yataha, that which is defined by these lakshana. And what is the lakshana? Advaya anandatmana, that which is non-dual, which is devoid of any sorrow. Should we just read? Let me restart this.
Okay, okay.
नमस्ते जी।
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't able to admit you, so I had to restart. So we were just recapping. From that which is Nirvikalpa, which is defined by the Lakshana Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and that which is Advaya Ananda, from that Vachaha Abhidanani Dravyadi Savikalpa Vastu Vishayani Vastu Samanyat Nirvikalpe Advaye Api Brahmani Prayoktribihi Prakashanaya Prayujyamanani Aprapya Aprakashya Eva Nivartante Swasamarthyat Iyante. So even though words are generally capable of revealing certain objects that they are intended to reveal, in the case of these words, the words themselves are not in a position to directly reveal the intended object. That is what is the sentence here. Because we see that though we hear all these words, Brahman, Advayam, Nirvikalpam, Nirakaram, all these, but still it is not landing on an object. We have some vague concepts in the mind. Until somebody cognizes is what the situation. This is the situation, right? Because we are, like I said in the last class, we are used to words falling on a certain concept or object or an understanding, like electricity. Electricity you don't see, or distance, and there are emotions. These are all not objects, but these are still with certain attributes that I am able to cognize them. Whereas in the case of Brahman, though the words are there, the words are in a position to objectify something for you. As a subject, you are not able to objectify a thing or an emotion or any of those things. That is why the Vachyartha is ineffective. So Bhashikara uses Aprapya Aprakashyeva Nivartante Swasamarthyat Hiyante. Manaha iti pratyayaha vijnanam tacca yatra abhidanam pravrittam atindra pravrittam विज्ञानं तच्च वाचः प्रवृत्तिः तस्मात् सह एव वाङ्मनसयोः अभिधानप्रत्ययोः प्रवृत्तिः सर्वत्र तस्मात् ब्रह्मप्रकाशनाय सर्वथा प्रयोक्तृभिः प्रयुज्यमानापि वाचः यस्मात् अप्रत्ययविषयात् अनभिधेयात् अदृश्यादिविशेषणात् सह एव मनसा विज्ञानेन सर्वप्रकाशनसमर्थेन निवर्तन्ते तं ब्रह्मणा आनन्दं श्रोत्रियस्य अवृजिनस्य अकामहतस्य सर्वेषणा विनिर्मुक्तस्य आत्मभूतं विषयविषयी संबंध विनिर्मुक्तं स्वाभाविकं नियतं नित्यम् अविभक्तं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मणः विद्वान् यथोक्तेन विधिना न बिभेति कुतश्चन. So here the sentence is ब्रह्मणः विद्वान् न बिभेति कुतश्चन is the basic sentence, correct? So the one who cognizes the Brahman doesn't fear from anything. And what is that Brahman is what is defined in these words which are before this word Brahman. Okay. So the words which are used by people to reveal Brahman, okay, they reverse back, they bounce back from what? Adrishyadi Visheshanat. Adrishyam, Anatmyam, Anilayanam, all these are used for Brahman, right? Adrishya, Anatmya, Anilayane, Abhayam, Pratishtam, Vindate, we have seen that. So that which is not objectifiable, that is Adrishya. Drishyam is here Upalakshana for Ashros, Ashrutam, right? All of them also. It is not seen, it is not heard, it is not whatever. It is basically not objectifiable. Therefore, adrishyadi, that is why adi pada. Adi is for adrishyam, anilayanam, all those, right? Ashrutam. So these are all the adjectives for Brahman. That kind of Brahman. Saha eva manasa vijnanena sarva prakasana samarthena nivartante tam Brahmana. So along with the mind, all these words are bouncing back on what? From that Brahman, which is Anandam. Srotriyasya avrijinasya akamahatasya sarva ishana vinirmuktasya atmabhutam. So what is this Anandam? It is Atma for everyone, but here he is talking about a jnani, so he uses the phrase Srotriyasya, the one who is Srotriya. See, this is a clear qualification for who is a jnani. Because today we hear, why do you need Shastra kind of thing, right? And for that, one of the things which is spoken about is, hey, did Ramana do any Shastra study? Did Ramakrishna Paramahamsa go to any Vedanta Gurukula? How do we know? We don't know. Now, we don't know what they heard. They may not have sat in some Artha Vidya Varshini or, some Anandashram, correct? That is, may not be that way. But they all have also heard Shastra in some form or the other, which is anyway understandable when they speak. Even the words like Brahman, who am I, all that came from what? It is all from Shastra only. Vedanta Vakyas only are saying, do the vichara of who am I, isn't it? So essentially, the Jnanam, Acharya here, Bhaskara, starts saying Shrotriyasya, the one who has exposed oneself to the Vedic vision, Vedantic vision. That person is Shrotriya, Satya Atmabhutam. Avrijinasya, that is the one who is without any papa, who has come out of Punya Papa and all that. Avrijinasya, Akamahatasya, who is not emotionally unstable, who is not bogged down by Ragadvesha. That is what is Akamahatasya. Sarvaishana Vinirmuktasya, the one who is free from the wants. The wants, Sarvaishana, Vittaishana, Putraishana, all that is there. So the longing for wealth, for children, for loka, you can add many kinds of things today. The wants for a big car, for a huge mansion, whatever, for a great equipment, television, all that, right? All vittam. Vinirmuktasya Atmabhutam Vishaya Vishayi Sambandha Vinirmuktam. Swabhavikam Anandam. So this is Paramanandam. He is qualifying. What is he qualifying it as? Vishaya Vishayi Sambandha Vinirmuktam. The subject object. So when you say Ananda, we already saw this in the last class, right? So when we say Ananda, immediately our knowledge of Ananda is Vishaya Vishayi Sambandha Ananda. There is an object. The subject becomes one with the object. You acquire that object. I bought a new laptop. That is the object. Vishaya. Then I am the Vishayi. The subject object. The moment I acquire that, I have been waiting for it. I acquire it. Then at that moment I am happy because there is a union of subject and object. The wanting me is temporarily suspended. At that time, I am relishing in that subject-object union, Vishaya-Vishayi Sambandha. That is how I see Ananda. Whereas this Anandam is Swabhavikam. It is free of subject-object difference nor union. Because here subject and object are both same. There is no subject, there is no object. It is all one. Therefore, it is Swabhavikam. In fact, like we have seen many times, the subject-object union Ananda also is nothing but Swarupa Ananda only. Therefore, this is the Swabhavika Ananda. Why is it Swabhavikam? Swabhava. It is not dependent on anything. It is not dependent on a condition. It is not dependent on a situation. Then it is a Swabhavikam. It is not incidental, but it is natural. Therefore, Swabhavikam. Because it is Swabhavikam, it is Nityam. Or because it is Nityam, it is Swabhavikam. It is always there because your own Swarupa. That's why it is Swabhava. Nityam, Avibhaktam. There is no gradation. Parama Anandam, Brahmanaha Vidwan. That Parama Ananda. The Parama means what? That which is the basis of everything. That kind of every Ananda. That is Parama Anandam, Brahmanaha Vidwan. The one who cognizes, not experiences. It doesn't say Brahmanaha Paramaanandam, Anubhuta. It is not like Anubhava Sadhyam or Anubhutam Anandam. Correct? Here Vidwan. Yatoktena Vidhina Vidwan. Navibeti Kutaschana. Doesn't hear from anything. Why anything? Nimitta Bhava. The fear doesn't have any basis. There is no cause for the fear. Because we have seen nothing is separate from oneself. But that doesn't mean everything separate from me makes me afraid. Suppose there is a mountain or there is this moon, just because it is separate from me, does it make me fear? Bhashyakara is going to say Udaramantaram Kuru, that is going to quote Udaramantaram Kurute Atatasya Mayam Bhavati. He just quotes in the next line. Nahi Tasmad Vidushaha Anyat Vastuantaram Asti Bhinnam Yataha Viveti. There is nothing apart from oneself which will make one fear. Avidyaya yada udaramantaram kurute ata satya bhayam bhavati. So only when there is the second thing there can be a fear, is what is told. But then the question is, does the second thing necessarily mean a fear? A sun or moon or trees or mountains, do they make me afraid? They don't, not in that sense. But the point is, when I take me as separate from everything else, then I see myself as insignificant, as limited, capable of being crushed, time-wise limited, spatially limited, unhappy, happiness-wise limited, unacceptability of my own commissions, omissions, my own attributes, my own relationships, my own conduct. So this unacceptability is because of what? Because when I say I, it means all of us, right? We see ourselves as separate from everything else, not only separate from everything else, pitted against everything, competing for what is available in a limited fashion. I am competing with so many people in the world to grab my share of happiness. That is our state. I am always trying to grab, somehow cut across, cut corners, like Puja Swamiji used to say, somehow grab my share of happiness, because I am not able to stand the unhappy me, and I am not able to stand the limitations that are constraining me. Therefore, there is a bhaya, because I see myself very insignificant in this whole race, lacking capacity to manage. See, what am I trying to do? Again, when I say I, all of us, right? What are we trying to do? We are trying to change, manipulate our surroundings, our environment. When I say environment, the ecosystem which we are in, like the people. All the time I'm trying to change my spouse. I'm trying to change the way my kids behave with me, parents behave with me, siblings behave with me, my colleagues or my boss. Everybody we are trying to change. This is about people. And also on things. How do I acquire certain things? So we are working towards changing my things around me so that I can be happy. And in the process, I find myself not being able to make the necessary changes to keep me happy. Now all these create a fear, right? Fear, because you fear both ways, right? My being, whatever I possess, I should not lose it. Whatever I am trying to achieve, acquire, that I may or may not get it. And also about my limitations, all these create a bhaya. That is why it is said, Udaramantaram kurute atatasya bhayam bhavat. Not because, everything is, it's not like, some Bhagavan coming and threatening or something. That is not the intent. Vidushasya avidya karyasya daimirika drishti dvitiya chandravati nashas bhayanimitasya na viveti kutasyana iti usyate. However, on the other hand, when a person cognizes this fact, the vision, that all that is here is nothing but this one Brahman, this Ananda Atma, then for that person what happens? This Vidushaha avidya karyasya nivritti, avidya karyasya nasha. The avidya karya is all this dual, that concept of duality, the notion of duality. Dual is manifold, right? Not just two. Two means 2, 3, 4, 5, infinite. That is the karya. And avidyayaha karya. So this is all, this samsara is avidya karya only, because of lack of proper vision. It's not that I am seeing a sun or moon is not going to change. But the sun and moon are separate from me is what is the avidya karya. Not sun and moon themselves. That is not avidya karya. Okay. This avidya karyasya nasha, because this avidya karya is going to be destroyed by what? By vidya. Vidushaha. That's why Vidushaha avidya karyasya nasha. For the learned, for the one who has cognized this avidya karya gets destroyed. How is it destroyed? Saimilika drishti, the second moon of the cataract infected person. The cataract is gone, the second moon is gone. So too the fallacy of the duality goes away. Then what happens? Nabibeti kutaschana. Then it is appropriate to say that that person doesn't fear anything, not just any time, but anything. She doesn't fear any object. Why it is anything? Because Kadachana was already there, where Manomaye cha Udahrita. When the Manomaya Atma, that Upasana was being spoken about. What was that Upasana? That our individual mind is part of the Samashti mind, Hiranyagarbha, and you are not separate from that Hiranyagarbha. So you take yourself to be one with that Hiranyagarbha. When you do that Upasana, the Upasana Palam at that time was clearly told that this person never fears any time, never fears. At no time does this person fear. Because Kadachana was said. So Bhashikara says, Manasaha Brahma Vijnana Sadhanatvat Tatra Brahmatvam Adhyaropya Tastutyartam Navibeti Kadachana iti Bhayamatram Pratisiddham. Only the fear is negated, not fear from anything else is not what is spoken, because here, what is the context? Brahmatvam Adhyaropya. This Hiranyagarbhatvam was superimposed on you, on your mind. Your mind, take it as the entirety, the Vyashti Samashti. That is a Upasana. So, because you are Samashti and you are doing a Upasana there, then there is a Phalam. The Hiranyagarbha gives you a Phalam of fearlessness. Temporarily. Because any Upasana Phalam is temporary only. Whereas in this case, here, Advaita Vishaye, na bibheti kutaschana iti bhaya nimittameva pratisiddhate. Here the cause of fear itself is negated because here it is about jnanam. And that is why he uses the word advaya vishaye, advaita vishaye. So here the context is advaitam brahma is the context. Because Sankramanam, Upasankramanam is spoken about obtaining that state, that Swarupa of Brahman due to Jnanam. This person doesn't have anything to fear. Now, there is another question. Etagam havavana tapati imahagam sadhuna karavam imaham papamakaravamiti ayayevam vidwan ete atmanagdisprunute ubekye vaishayeste atmanagdisprunute yayevam veda. Etam hava, va means vai, etam havai ava na tapati. It doesn't burn him. What doesn't burn him? Imaham sadhuna akaravam. Why didn't I do the right things in my life? Imaham papam akaravam. Why did I do papa in my life? Iti, the guilt and hurt. Not guilt and hurt, there's omission and commission. Okay. I omitted doing lot of good things in the life. Why did I do all this? Why didn't I do the right things? Why did I do things which are papa? What is it going to lead me to? These kind of guilt happens for people as we all age. Saya evam vidwan ete atmanam sprinute. The person who gains this jnanam strengthens oneself against all these kind of situations of guilt. Ubekyevaish ete atmanam sprinute. Why? How? By seeing all these commissions and omissions as non-separate from Atma. Okay. Here we are not, the Shastra is not saying you are different from all this guilt and hurt. It doesn't say that, because that doesn't work, and that is not true also. The moment you like, if you confess in certain religions like Christianity, they say you go and confess, that will free you. But confession alone doesn't completely free oneself. It gives some relief. Only acceptance as these being not separate from Atma. The acceptance of oneself is very important. Then only one is free. And there is a truth. It's all mithya. Just like I have certain qualities, these, whatever has happened, all the omissions and commissions are also non-separate from my Swarupa, but in the form of mithya. Only if we take it that way, then the person gets freed. That is why Shastra says, Ubekyevaish ete atmanam smrute ya evam veda. See the Bhashya. Nanu asti bhaya nimittam sadhu akaranam papakriya cha. The question that Bhashyakara raises here is, okay, you are saying there is no other object, udaramantaram kurute, ata tasya bhayam bhavati, therefore there is no other object thing outside which can make you afraid, which can create a fear. But how about your own guilt? Will that not create a fear? Is the question. Nanu asti bhaya nimittam sadhu akaranam papakriya. Your own omission, your own commissions, your own not doing the right thing, good deeds, and doing bad deeds. These psychologically, they will come to haunt you. You may say, I am not afraid of, this large world or Bhagavan or any of those things. We can say, I am non-separate from all of them. That's fine. But there are psychological situations centered on you, because you would be carrying certain hurt and guilt. What about those? Should you not be fearing that? Or these kind of fears don't exist? Will they also go away with this Jagat going away? Is the question. Nanu asti bhaya nimittam sadhu akaranam papakriya. Bhashyakara says, na evam, no sir, katamiti uchyate. Give me 1 minute, I am running out of time. Evam, etam. Oh, okay. Etam yatoktam evam vidam avava iti avadharanarthau. Etam हवावन तपति ह वै हवाव इति अवधारणार्थौ. This ha and vava is just to recollect, just some additional. This is a Vedic. It just uses, Veda uses these kind of things. Have to take it as indeed. That's all. Indeed, what? Yetam, yatoktam, evam vidam. In this form, what is said? Na tapati, na udvejayati, na santapayati. It doesn't disturb one. It doesn't create that guilt doesn't burn that person, the one who has cognized Brahman, anymore. Katam punaha sadhu akaranam papakriya chanatapati. How do you say that? How are you saying that suppose I gain this knowledge of Brahman, how are you saying that my feeling of omission and commission that will not hurt me? Guilt, those kind of guilt will not, make me sorrowful towards. This is very common, isn't it? How are you saying that the sorrow will not be there? Just because now I have learned, okay, this is all Brahman. But as an individual, I have done so many things which are wrong in my life. Or I have left, even if I haven't done anything, it's not that I have gone and murdered or anything like that. But then there are omissions. I probably missed doing what I am supposed to do for my parents, or for my children, or for my siblings. There could be omission. So towards the later part of life, I may be in a grief that I left whatever were my duties. Or in some cases, I may not have followed some good instructions. My grandfather was a very strict. Pujiswami used to say this. He never used to even eat onions and garlic. My father was a vegetarian, but I went and ate in some chicken stall. So there could be like this. There can be those kind of guilt, sadhu akaranam or papakriya. How are you saying these things will not come to bite somebody? So uchyate kim kasmat sadhu shobhanam karmana akaravam na kritavan asmi iti paschat santapaha bhavati asanne maranakale paschat santapaha bhavati. Bhashyakara says this. So from his time, these are very common. We see even nowadays, right? People who are aged and in, having some ailments or in deathbed, there is paschatapaha. Paschat means afterwards, late. Santapaha means, after doing something, you are repenting, right? The repentance is called paschatapaha. Paschat santapaha. So when a person is old and, in deathbed, because there is some dharmika faith, belief. So this person has a fear, I have done all this papa, will I go to Naraka and all that? Tata kim kasmat papam pratishiddham karma akaravam kritavan asmi iti cha narakapatanadi dukkha bhayat tapaha bhavati. So what is this fear? Bhashyakara says, narakapatanadi dukkha bhayat tapaha bhavati. Because the person knows he or she is not going to stay here for long. They are able to sense the condition of their body. Now the fear is, where am I headed, right? That is what that person will fear. Papam pratishiddham karma akaravam krutavan asmi narakapatanadi dukkha bhayat tapaha bhavati. That person is going to definitely have fear. Because as such one doesn't know where one is headed after death. Nobody knows. But people have said, Shastra has said that, hey, your papa means you will go to Naraka. So, and everybody's life is filled with Punya and Papa both, right? But at that time, only this Papa will come up in your mind. So that's what Bhattikara says, Narakapatanadi dukkha bhayat tapaha bhavati te ete sadhu akarana papa kriye evam etam na tapataha. Those two things, sadhu akaranam and papa kriya, they both don't burn this person who is a jnani. Yatha avidvansam tapataha. Like they burn this ignorant, it doesn't do that to us, the one who has jnanam. How? Tasmat punaha vidvamsam na tapataha. How do you say that? For them it doesn't. For what reason? Isyate aya evam vidvanete sadhu asadhuni tapahetu iti atmanam sprunte prinayati balayati va. This person by the jnanam strengthens, prinayati pleases, balayati va strengthens oneself from this tapahetu, this dual, the sadhu and asadhu tapahetu. How? Paramatma bhavena ubhe pashyati ityarthaha. That person sees these two things as commission and omission as non-separate from the Swarupa. This is not me. Because this is not me, kind of bhava with omission and commission will not free you. It will make yourself, because anyway you recognize these as your own act. So the only way to recover from that is to accept them as non-separate from Swarupa, but as Mithya. That is why Shastra says, Paramatma bhavena ubhe pashyati. They both are seen as non-separate, which is true also. You have to be kind to yourself, psychologically also. And as a reality also, it is non-separate from, everything is part of that one Ishvara order only anyway. The person who sees that, then that person is not bogged down by all this commission and omission. Ubhe punya papehi yasmat evam eshaha vidwan yete atmanam atmarupena eva punya pape svena vitesha rupena shunye kritva atmanam sunute eva. Okay, this punya papa is kind of atma, but as mithya. Just like all the vrittis are in you, in your mind, but they are mithya, whereas the Jnati Swarupameva Satyam. We have seen that, right? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. The Jnanam is, Bhashyakara had brought in 3 or 4 ways of interpreting that Jnanam. One, he said, Jnanati iti Jnanam, Jnayate iti Jnanam. Like that, all the options he brought forth and finally concluded saying, Jnaptihi eva Jnanam. Recollect. So the vrittitvam is mithya, the jnaptihi eva jnana swarupa. That just like the vrittitvam in your mind is mithya, which is adhyaropitam anya swarupa, so too here all this punya pape, though is your in you, but they are not your swarupa. That is how you recognize them. Punya pape evam एषः विद्वान् एते आत्मानम् आत्मरूपेण एव पुण्यपापे केन विशेषरूपेण विशेष शून्ये कृत्वा आत्मानं स्मृते कः यः एवं वेद the one who knows this Brahman in this form, that person removes them. Eventually they are destroyed. What is destroyed? This guilt. Because that person is now Brahman. Yatoktam Advaitam Anandam Brahma Veda. The one who recognizes this Brahman. Tasya Atmabhavena Dushte Punyapape Nirvirye Atapake Janmantara Arambake Nabhavataha. So what happens? They become Nirvirya. They lose their potency. The Punya and Papa lose their potency to create another birth for this Jiva, because the Jivatvam is anyway gone. Without losing individuality, this person recognizes oneself to be that Ishvara. That is the state of Anandavalyaha Upasamharaha. So the conclusion of Anandavalya. Itiyam evam yatokta asyam valyam brahma vidya upanishad sarvabhyaha vidyabhyaha paramarahasyam darshitam ityartah param shreyaha asyam nishannamiti ya evam veda iti upanishad is how it ends. Upanishad ends, that Valli ends. Bhashyakara says, iti iyam evam yatokta brahma vidya. This Brahma Vidya, which has been revealed in this Asyam Valyam, in this Valli, this is Upanishad. What is this Upanishad? He gives a meaning for this Upanishad. He has given many meanings, right? Upanishannam and all that other places. Shadul, I think in Mandukya, one of these Upanishads, Upa plus me plus Sadle is how he breaks up and gives a meaning. Here he says Param Shreyaha Asyam Nishannam iti Upanishad. This Parashreyas is always available in the form of Brahma Swarupa for the Jnani. Param Shreyaha Asyam Nishannam. Therefore, because it is the Param Shreyas is Nishannam, here it is called Upanishad. This is how he gives the meaning for the word Upanishad. But before that, he gives one sentence: Sarvabhyaha Vidyabhyaha Paramarahasyam Darshitam Ityarthaha. The most secret Vidya, like all this Varma, there are so many Vidyas. There is Rasa Vidya, Pujaswamiji has given the reference to it. Rasa Vidya is to be a Vidya which will convert a normal metal to the valuable metal, like gold, silver, and all that. That is Rasa Vidya. That was all very secret Vidya, which was all lost. Similarly, this Varma, a lot of it is lost. Even Ayurveda, a lot of things have been lost. They were all Rahasyam. There are many Rahasya Vidyas. So here, Paramarahasyam. Upanishad is called Paramarahasyam. Why Paramarahasyam? Is it because people shouldn't teach it? No. Sometimes Rahasyam also is, the words are there, it is given, but if it is not understood, somebody is told, hey, this you are Brahman. That person doesn't understand. And no other means of knowledge is also there to make him or her understand. Correct? The person, okay, this is you are Brahman, And knowing Brahman, you will be free. Suppose you tell somebody, can that person go to a research lab, spend crores of rupees and gain Brahman? No. Even a deep, great scientist cannot go and just sit in a lab and do some theorems and gain Brahman, because it is not available for perception inference, which is what the labs work on, or certain theorems. So it is, even though that person has the sentence that you are Brahman, but the Vidya is Rahasyam only for that person, because despite having the sentence, it is not known. Similarly, this Vidya, only when a person exposes oneself to the Vedic vision, Shrotavyaha, then Mantavyaha, Nidityasamyaha. Therefore, Shrotriyaha only can gain this. So it is Paramarahasyam. Despite the words being there, you can't get it unless you have the Antakarana Shuddhi, and also you are a Shrotriya. That person alone can gain. Therefore, it is Paramarahasyam. Like your Chidambara Rahasyam. Even if in the temple you see that you can only see the wall, and they say they open the screen and then you see the wall. That is Chidambara Rahasyam. It's not that because they have put a screen it is Rahasyam, but even if they open the screen also you don't understand. And people are saying, hey, what is there? Just a wall is there. They are saying big secret, Chidambara Rahasyam. What is that? That's what they say and go. Right? We don't have to go and justify whether it's a proper Rahasyam or not. The fact that even after seeing it, they are not able to recognize what is there itself means it's a Rahasyam. That's all. The fact that they are making that statement proves that it is a Rahasyam. Likewise, here also, it is Parama Rahasyam, because even if the words are told to stay, so many books are there, right? You go to any publication, Ramakrishna Mission, this and that, hundreds of books. Everybody has written. The spirituality is the ocean. People, there are so many people have written so many books. But do they all lead to this jnanam? No. It is, that's why it is Rahasyam. There are so many things are there, but it doesn't lead to the jnanam unless the person is a Shrotriya, and also that person has the adhikaritvam for this jnanam. Then only the person gains. Otherwise, any amount one can read, it doesn't help. So it is Paramarahasyam. Sarvabhyaha Vidyabhyaha Paramarahasyam Darshitam Ityarthaha Param Shreyaha Asyam Nishannam. And it is filled with Parashreyas, and this Vidya makes Parashreyas to be always present for the person who has gained this jnana. Therefore, this is the Brahma Vidya. So we didn't stop with completion. So we'll just start this Bhriguvalli one line and then we'll start. Bhriguvalli, Valli Sambandha, this Bhriguru Vaivarnihi, Arunam Pitaramupasasara, Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Akashadikaryam Annamayantam Sritva Tadeva Anupravishtam Visheshavate Iva Upalabhyamanam Yasmat Tasmat Sarvakarya Vilaksanam Adrishyadi Dharmakam Eva Anandam Tadeva Ahamiti Janyat Anupraveshasya Tadarthatvat Tasya Evam Vijanataha Shubhe Shubhe Karmani जन्मांतरारंभकेन भवतः इति एवं आनंदवल्यां विवक्षितः अर्थः परिसमाप्त च ब्रह्मविद्या अतः परं ब्रह्मविद्या साधनं तपः वक्तव्यम् अन्नादि विषयानि च उपासनानि अनुक्तानि इत्यतः idam arabhyate. We'll see this in detail in next class, but essentially the first 3/4 of this paragraph is a concise presentation of what has gone in Brahmananda Valli. Right? एवं विजानतः शुभाशुभे कर्मणि जन्मांतर आरंभकेन भवतः इति एवं आनंदवल्यां विवक्षितः अर्थः. Whatever is the intended of meaning of Anandavalli was what is shown in the last paragraph of the previous Valli. Parisamapta cha Brahma Vidya. That Brahma Vidya is complete from Taittiriya Upanishad perspective. Then why do you need this another chapter? So Bhashyakara says, Atapparam Brahma Vidya sadhanam tapaha vaktavyam. Once you have gained this Brahma Vidya, a tapaha also is to be told. What is this tapas? All nididhyasanam and those kind of things which we will speak about. But having just, okay, you gain this vision, but it has to get rooted. It has to be available to you. Otherwise, this jnanam, if it is not available, we only call that as videha mukti. Only when the jnanam is always available, it is called as jivan mukti. So how to gain that jivan mukti has to be told by Shastra. Therefore, this Bhrigu is about tapaha. Annadi vishayani cha upasanani anuttani. Ityataha idam arabhyate. Anna vishaya upasana and all that have to be spoken about because they have not yet been covered. Therefore, the next Valli is starting. He gives connection, and the Valli starts with Brigurvai Varunihi Varunam Pitaram Upasasara Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. This Varuna's son Brigu goes to his father Brigu and says, can you tell me, teach me, what is this Brahman? What is this great thing, large thing, infinite thing? What is this Brahman? Please teach me. Then Brigu talks. That is what is called Brigu Valli. We'll see in the next one. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vadishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.